Yeah, 8 o'clock is. That's how I say it. It's easy on my time sheet. I still have the cough. Yep. Yep. Yeah, all of it. I was basically a conscious listener. I couldn't even try to Exactly. Yep. I even took a COVID test. Just I did see that. But we're now to the point yeah, I know. I didn't always I was sorry, guys. I had plans for this, so I actually take time off. Yeah, I've got, I think, 2 weeks left. Especially with our guys. So I have one staff member. That's what I was thinking of doing, especially because she's still a trainee. So I was thinking maybe because of the science, I read I apologize for that's a big thing that I'm working through. She's a nice person. She's just not kidding. So I didn't even know we have a section like I found out so she's been there 7 months. She didn't even know we had a section. How do you know? That's right. 6, 7 months in.
Good. Can't even tell all that now. It's wonderful. You're looking good. You know? You what?
I said the who's what we call.
Jesus.
How are you doing? I've been okay. Yeah.
In the library?
Oh, yeah. Getting ready for spring.
I got some pizza.
Oh, great. I will be happy. Yeah. Oh, I mean, it depends on if we have all that we should sale. Yeah. Oh, those are real popular. Yeah.
down Kelsey, you got a staff of those novels and stuff. They're good at investing.
Yeah, we'll have to take a.
She'll have to take, I heard you clear out your stash.
Oh, yeah.
Which will probably be next month.
I know, I'm like.
So we looked her back to once. Oh, what are
in their work. I don't know where. All right, we will call the meeting to order. It is Tuesday, February 10th, 2023 at 7:08 p.m. And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. All right. Tom Trout.
Here.
Trudy. Here.
Here.
Lori. John. Here. Laura. Here. We have a quorum. All right. Board member conflict of interest statement. Doesn't appear to be one. Public comment on agenda items. Open at 7:09. Any public comment on agenda items? Public comment on agenda items is closed. Approval of meeting agenda. I have a couple of changes. Okay, can I start, please? I'd like to add, let's add the wastewater treatment plant headworks building expansion. Let's put it under 10A with the sewer construction bills and change order. And I'm sure Steve will explain it to us. Did he stay?
Yeah.
Oh, good, okay. At the end of the table is, at the end of the table is the letter of support that the board authorized writing last month. It's there for public review. I don't know that that needs to be on the agenda. I just wanted to point it out that it's there as a point of interest. And I would like to postpone the assessor contract. Let's remove the assessor item 9A under old business. To postpone that to March. Those are my changes, please. Any others? No other changes? Okay, so now I need an approval of the meeting agenda as amended, please.
I'll make that motion.
Very good. Do we have support?
I'll support that motion.
Very good. Any additional conversation? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Approval of previous minutes from the January 13th meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve the January 13th.
Support?
I'll support that.
Oh, there we go, Tim. We'll give you support. And all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Reports. We have with us today a very special person, very important, Joe Berlin from Gabridge and Company. He's our auditor. 2 years running. How many years running, Joe?
I'd have to go back to the file and look. I honestly can't remember. I'm too old to remember that much information.
Thank you for coming all the way up here.
I'm glad to be here. I thank the board for the opportunity to be here tonight. Again, my name is Joe Berlin from Gabridge and Company, and the audit process went very smoothly this year.
You're fine.
Very smooth audit process this year. We were able to receive all the information needed in order to be able to conduct the audit. And we confirmed and verified the numbers that were provided to us. And we were able to get everything submitted to Treasury on time this year. So we had a bit of a delay, some challenges in fiscal 24. No such challenges were encountered during fiscal 25. So definitely some significant improvement with regards to timing and moving through the audit. As a result of that, everything was submitted to Treasury on time, the F-65, the audit report, the qualifying statement, and the township has received its qualified status as of December 31st, 2025, which is essentially a checklist that the Department of Treasury, they take a look at various attributes of a local unit of government. As long as everything is checked out and is deemed compliant, the qualified status is granted. So it's always a nice way to kind of verify that things are in good standing with Treasury as of December 31st, 2025. As part of that, what matters more than anything else is found on page 1 of this audit report. And that's where we provide the opinion on the financial statements. And the second paragraph down, we wrote, in our opinion, the financial statements present fairly in all material respects, the financial position of the township as of June 30, 2025. And this is referred to as a clean opinion on your financial statements. This is the highest level of an opinion that we can provide on your financials. And like I said, it essentially is a statement that the numbers were timely, they were accurate, and they were verifiable. So it means something to have a clean opinion on your financial statements. We've had larger organizations that weren't able to stand behind their numbers, and they had either a qualified or an adverse opinion. So it means something to get to this point, but it always should be the township's goal to have a clean opinion on your financials. The other thing that I wanted to point out is the very last paragraph, the fourth paragraph on page 1. It's an emphasis of matter paragraph. And every 3 to 5 years or so, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board will issue a new pronouncement, and it stands to have a significant impact on the financial statements of local units of government. And this year, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board issued statement number 101. It basically is a more conservative approach to valuing your paid time off, the township's paid time off to its employees as of year end. It did not have a material impact on your financial statements, but it still was a significant standard. And we did want to point it out to readers of the financial statements that the township did implement statement number 101 during the course of the year. Next, if you go to page 6, the next section of the audit report is management's discussion and analysis. And this is essentially an 8 or 9 page summary of the entire audit. Here you get financial highlights. You can see 2-year comparative information to get an idea for some of the trends that your finances are showing. And then there's some narrative explaining reasons behind changes in your numbers during each of the past 2 years. This is the section of the audit report. I live in the city of Kentwood. I read their own DNA. I just found it to be the quickest spot to get the information that matters to me as a reader of the financial statements. So working through the financial highlights, the first bullet point is on the long-term basis of accounting. It's called the accrual basis of accounting. So if we took all the assets of the township That includes infrastructure, buildings, equipment, sewer system, things of that nature. And we sold all of those assets and we paid all the liabilities, the long-term liabilities, the bonds payable, and that pension liability. There would be about $21 million left over. And that's referred to as net position. In the corporate world, we would call that equity. So net position is the residual amount. But that's across all funds, and that includes non-spendable items. You can't spend infrastructure. When we back off the non-spendable items and the restricted amounts across all funds of the township, there's $10,391,257 of unrestricted net position available as of year end. A better representation of what your liquidity was. Again, this is across all funds of the township as of year end. The second bullet point down, the net position number is somewhat theoretical. Obviously, the township has no intention of selling all its assets and paying its liabilities. But it is nice to know, is your net position improving or is it going backwards over time? And here you can see your net position increased by $10.9 million. And we'll see that over $10 million of that is related to one-time grants and special assessments that were recognized as revenue as part of the sewer project. So it's one time in nature. That's not going to, in a typical year, the township isn't going to have a $10 million increase in your net position. But when we see an increase in your net position, that means your revenues exceeded your expenses during the course of the year. If we normalized it, it'd be more like $300,000 to $500,000 somewhere in that ballpark when we back off all the things sewer project related, which is more comparable to where the township typically ends up with regard to the change in your net position. Third bullet point, now we're talking about the governmental funds. This is just the governmental funds of the township. We're excluding the sewer fund, and we're looking at your fund balance. I would think of fund balance as being checkbook accounting. What are your immediate resources compared to your immediate obligations? The difference between those two is referred to as fund balance. And as of the end of the year, total fund balance across all of your funds was $2,150,428. And that was a decrease of $31,944 for the 12 months ended June 30, 2025. So in other words, cash out of your governmental funds exceeded the cash in by approximately $32,000 during the course of the year, essentially break even during fiscal 25. And that last bullet point shows the most important element of fund balance in your most important fund. So your general fund is the most important fund. The unassigned fund balance is the most important element of fund balance because you can use that to cover one-time expenditures. You can use that to cover the day-to-day cost of operating the township. So unassigned fund balance came in at $987,658. When we divide that by your annual general fund expenditures and transfers out, you're about 90% funded. So very healthy. Most of our townships are somewhere in the 75 to 100% range, 90%, not too much, not too little, very healthy financial position as of June 30, 2025. Next, if you go to page 9, we get a look at the comparative assets and liabilities of the township during the past 2 years. And I'm going to focus on the last two columns, which are across all the funds of the township. And just wanted to highlight a couple of items, a couple of line items that did change. On the very top one, your cash and investments improved. That's always a good thing. So you had $1.95 million of cash and investments as of June 30, 2024. That number improved by approximately $300,000 up to $2.25 million at June 30, 2025. If you look about a half dozen rows down, you can see in the non-current assets section, the very top row, within your non-current assets is your capital assets. That number increased by $8.4 million, primarily a result of that sewer project being in progress as of year end. So significant amount. I mean, we talked about the $10.9 million increase in your net position. Where did all those resources go? They went into your fixed assets, the sewer project. If you look about 1/3 of the way down the page, the accounts payable increased. June 30, 2024, $315,000. That number increased up to $2.27 million as of June 30, 2025. That's common. That just means that there's unpaid construction payables as of year end. Typically, the contractors will submit their bill in July for June construction progress that was made. So very commonly we see an uptick in accounts payable when there's ongoing projects. And then if you look about 3/4 of the way down, the long-term debt increased from 1.6 million at June 30, 2024, up to 5.6 million as of June 30, 2025. Obviously for the sewer project. So the bonds issued to cover those construction costs led to the increase in your long-term debt. Next, if you turn to page 11, we get a look at comparative revenues and expenses. And like I did mention, revenues were up significantly if you look halfway down. Again, focusing on those last two columns across all the funds of the township, your total revenues during fiscal 24 came in right around 3.6 million, and that number increased up to about 14.2 million during fiscal 25, primarily a result of 10.4, almost $10.5 million of non-recurring grant revenues and special assessments. And then if you look 3 rows up from the bottom, the change in that position, 3 rows up at the bottom, the very last column shows about $360,000 increase in the township's net position during fiscal 24, compared to a positive 10.9 million during fiscal 25. Now, again, if we normalize the 10.9 million and back out the $10.4 million of one-time revenues, we get very close to where the township was during fiscal 24. So very consistent year-over-year activity when we focus on the recurring items. Now, if we go to page 20, we get to the governmental funds of the township, and this is on the modified accrual or the cash basis of accounting. And this shows your general fund, the very first column, total revenues, total expenditures, and then 4 rows up at the bottom, the change in your fund balance in your general fund, which decreased by $102,448 during the course of the year. And then leading to an ending fund balance in your general fund of $10,067,943. Sorry, $1,067,943. And then if you look 4 rows up from the bottom in the very last column, total fund balance decreased by $31,944. So across all the other funds, when we aggregate those together, basically about a $70,000 increase in fund balance across the other funds of the township. So your general fund has a stable fund balance at June 30, 2025. The other funds of the township had about a $70,000 increase in total fund balances during the course of the year. And then just a couple more pages that I wanted to highlight. If you go to page 57, this is the required supplemental section, required supplemental information section of the audit report. And this shows the township's net pension liability. And it's got 10 years of comparative data, just kind of showing where that net pension liability has been and where it's heading. And it always looks like there's a typo, but the MERS Retirement Board has a December 31st, 2024. They have a calendar year end, so the actuarial valuation used in the township's audit report is there's always a 6-month gap. So as of December 31st, 2024, the total pension liability, which is about 1/3 of the way down, was about $4.25 million for the township. And that's in order to cover all the pension obligations to eligible recipients of the pension plan for the township over the next 30, 40 years. About $4.25 million will be paid out according to the actuaries, their best estimate. In order to cover that liability, 2/3 of the way down the page, you see the plan fiduciary net position, about $3.5 million. So the total assets that have been set aside by the township to cover that liability equal about $3.5 million. The township continues to go above and beyond, contributing more than what the annual required contribution is. And as a result of that, you can see your funding percentage has improved up to 82.1%. So when we take your total assets of $3.5 million, we divide it by your total pension liability of 4.25, you're at 82% funded. That's up from 72% as of December 31st, 2023. So about a 12-point improvement in the funding percentage, very healthy. Most of our local units are around 75%. So you're about 7% ahead of where local units are on average with regard to covering that total pension liability. Michigan Department of Treasury expects a minimum funding percentage of 60%, so you're 22 points. Not that that's the best practice benchmark to compare yourself against, but you are 22 points better than that minimum level, and about 7% better than what we're seeing on average for local units of government. And then lastly, if you go to page 83, Because the township received and expended more than $1 million of federal funds during the course of fiscal '25, in addition to doing a standard financial statement audit report, in addition to that, we also perform a federal single audit report. And what we do is we look at all the federal funds received by the township, we perform risk assessment procedures, and we identify the federal funds that we believe to be most likely to have some type of an error, compliance error. And we take a look at the half dozen different federal compliance requirements attached to those funds. We read through the grant agreements, the loan agreements, we make sure the township is receiving and expending those funds in accordance with those agreements. And we actually issue 2 opinions on these financial statements, one on your standard financial statements, one on the compliance over your major programs. So we found that the township had suitable controls in place over those federal awards to make sure that you were maintaining reasonable levels of compliance over the USDA grants and the USDA loans. And for that reason, we have a second, it doesn't sound flattering, unmodified or clean opinion on compliance over those federal funds. So a clean opinion on your financial statements, a clean opinion on compliance over your federal funds, and healthy financial position as of June 30, 2025. Those are the highlights that I've got, but I'm certainly happy to take any further questions that work on hand.
So I think you and I talked about this. Each year is taken as its own. So what happened in the previous year, has been addressed, and we are qualified according to the Department of Treasury.
Yep. So as of December 31st, 2025, the township, or the Department of Treasury is looking at, was the township's audit report received timely? Was the F-65 file timely? Is the township receiving and expending the tax funds correctly? All of those types of compliance requirements that Treasury deems to be essential. And you guys passed all of those tests, and for that reason, you did receive qualified status.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sewer update. Thanks, Joe. Thank you.
Good evening, Steve Cothrop from Performance Engineers. I want to start out tonight by just giving an update on how we're looking financing wise. Phase 1, I went through both Elmer's contract and Matt's contract last week. Most of the items are unit priced, so even though they're substantially complete and they'll be finishing up in the spring, we'll be doing a closeout change order at that time. Taking, it was so much for this. We have an extra here. This just went off by itself.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we're back on.
We're live.
And Elmer's, it's like a couple of big items. We did they hardly had to do any dewatering, which surprised us, but they had to do a lot more of undercutting and bringing in clean sand for fill. Those are 2 huge items, but they kind of balance each other out for the most part. But all said and done, my crystal ball says they're going to be about 20,000 short at the end up here. So we'll be still $20,000 change order when we do that closeout change order, which is fairly insignificant in the big scheme of things. Yeah, that was that mean the battery's dead?
Probably, yeah. Do you want to use mine?
Sure.
Thanks, Jonathan. We've got a bad actor. Thank you.
On Matt's side, they still have a lot of the individual grinder pumps to put in, which is scheduling with homeowners in the spring. So that's going to drag out for a while, but I'm predicting they're going to be about 180,000 to the good. So between the 2 of them, we're looking at probably 150, 160,000 to the good between those 2 contracts. Your Contingency right now in phase one is still at around 168,000. So you're gonna be over 300,000. You're gonna be over 300,000 when all is said and done with the two phase one contracts, which is in a good position to be in. And on phase two, Walton's only 20% into their first contract. They haven't even started their second contract. But phase two also does have that extra $1 million. Right now, you have 259,000 in your contingency in phase two. So I wanted to let you know where we're coming from financially. Things are looking fairly positive. One thing that Trudy has on for tonight, and I'll stick around as long as you need me to answer any questions on it. When we did the bids for all 5 contracts 2 years ago, the plant especially came in much higher than we thought, and we ended up having to go back out for bids on that one after taking out several items, including the addition to the building for more lab space, for bulk storage, for the chemicals, and some additional storage space as well. And when the $1 million came through in the supplemental funding from EPA for the $3.5 million grant, so it's now $4.5 million. The intent was, and Trudy verified this by going back and looking at the minutes from November of 2024. One was to pay back, hopefully the financial position will be that the township would be paid back, because I missed a part. When they award all those contracts, there wasn't enough for a contingency for phase one. So the township fronted that basically, with the hopes that they wouldn't have to spend it. And so we spent it down, but now we're putting some back. So you'll be able to get that back. But also to put the addition back in with that work for the storage and for the bulk chemical and the lab space and that. And there's several other items, and also including the preliminary engineering work for phase 3. So, but what we've put together is a bid package for putting that storage addition to the building back in. It also includes a bulk storage tank, so we don't have to deal with the drums anymore. And we've also included a 30 by 40 just pole barn a little bit a ways away from the building there. Some people call it cold storage. I spent 20 years in Alaska. Cold storage was an expensive storage building with freezers and that for the fish. So I call it unheated storage building. So I'm missing something. For the screen.
Yeah.
Also, the screen that broke 3 years ago, and the board at that time made the decision that they would defer that, hoping that it could be put back in when we got the $1 million. And there is language in that $1 million grant scope for allowing that. So, and we're going to size that to make sure it can handle what we envision to be a phase 3. The bulk storage chemicals, we had a meeting yesterday to kind of refine that with the operator to make sure that is going to be good enough for a future phase 3. So we've got the draft package together. The drawings need to be tweaked after we had our meeting yesterday, so we're going to be doing that in the next week or so. I've got a little bit more cleanup work on the specification for the screen, but the next step is for the board to basically bless the scope of this bid package. Once we have that, we can send it to USDA and EPA to get their concurrence that it meets all the requirements. Last month I showed you the specification, because it's a federal project, but the it's about that thick. And they go through all of that stuff, looking for all the special words that they have every here and there. And then once they approve that, then we can go out for bids. Has to be out on the street for 30 days, has to be advertised in the paper of record, which here now is the Sheboygan paper. But it's basically a 6-month project, because the screen's going to be about a 5-month lead time from when they order it to when it comes in. It won't be that bad putting it in, but we want to get that all done this summer. So if we get the go ahead tonight to continue on, then we'll finish up the tweaks that we talked about yesterday in our meeting, and we'll we'll button it up and get it off to USDA and hopefully get their blessing on it. So, but this will be the first big chunk coming out of that $1 million.
Yeah.
And once those bids come in, then we'll know how much is left for the other items.
Yeah.
Questions on that?
So is phase three, future phase three, you're talking about it's a different district, above and beyond the sewer plant and phase 1 and 2
Right.
residential.
Right, which most people, I think, kind of assume it's gonna be to the northeast here on the other side of the highway and on the other side of the river. But that has to be established through the whole petition SAD project, as to exactly what it's gonna be. But from experience, about 200 hookups is the sweet spot, both for expanding the plant and for getting the funding chunks of that size out of the feds.
And our plant will be able to handle that, we won't have to do an addition to the plant if and when that.
No, there'll be an addition, but we're gonna make sure the screen is, if you put the screen in now, it'll be sized to handle that.
Okay.
The chemical storage is sized for that. When phase 3 comes on, you'll need some more rapid infiltration basins. That's the big sand pits out there. Right now you've got 5. And when they did the original project, they made sure there was enough of those to handle this phase 1 and 2 that we're wrapping up now. You'll probably need some more ribs. You'll also need, another train with that sideline surge tank that we put in this year as part of the phase 1 and 2 project. That will hold the trains to accompany or to do another phase 3. So we've been working all along to try and keep thinking ahead and making things so that it can be added on to as cost effectively as possible.
Other questions? Later in the packet board, we have the drawings and the proposal. Do you want to address it now while we still have Steve available to us?
Well, I can stick
You can
around.
hang around? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there's no construction going on right now, I didn't have to come through till late this afternoon. So I swung by the house on the way home and fed the cats. So
Okay. All right, good deal.
they aren't gonna be out for blood when I get home tonight.
Yeah, okay, all right, good deal, thank you. Any other questions then, or comments? No?
Do you want me to stick around?
Yes,
Okay, then I will.
thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, very good. Clerk, please, report.
Okay, we have.
You're fine.
Invoice register report, we have 62 invoices in the amount of $149,699.87.
Any questions on the invoice register, the check register, payroll register, check register for payroll, I should say, or the revenue and expenditure report that's included as well? If there are no questions, then I will make a motion to accept the clerk's report and pay the bills. Tom seconds. And any other comments, questions? Oh, Jonathan, you're still reading? Here. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Treasurer.
Okay, all bank statements have been reconciled as of last week. She got them all done. She came and finished up a couple things in pool today. And so they're all done, except we're just waiting for bank statements from library. But those are real quick. Those are quick reconciles, so we're ahead of the game on reconciliation. Taxes are coming in fast. I have, of the roughly 6 million that we collect in the winter, we have about 1.6 million left to collect, and there's only, 17th is the last day to collect, so it's coming in fast. So if you drive by and you see my office is open, it's because I've been there just.
Now, when you say the 17th of February?
17th of February.
Okay,
Then if they still can pay till March 2nd, but there's penalty.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, it's coming in and I'm sending it out as fast as I can. 1 week we got in 1.2 million in 1 week alone. So,
and where do you distribute that to, just so that everybody's aware?
okay, so there are, if you look at your tax bill, and I was gonna do a graph, but I knew this would be a longer meeting tonight, so next month. But the top portion of like 911, county roads, all that I write a check out and send that up to Sheboygan County, including the recycling tax and the COP ISD, which is our intermediate school district for Sheboygan, Otsego, and Crestfield. And then I write a check to the school for 2 line items for them. And then I write out 3 checks that go to original sewer phase 1 and sewer phase 2, and then township gets a load with some. So for the police and the fire and the lights and so. But I thought I'd do like a little chart next time, but
Yeah, that would
if
be
it's a small, yeah.
All right, any questions? Okay, correspondence, yes, we have gotten some correspondence. Airport is closed, it's still being plowed and maintained, but the, I call it the lounge, is that the correct? Thank you. That has been, that's open, but the pipes are drained and all that, so anyway. Anyone know if there's people flying in and out of there? Have you seen
There
Tom?
could be.
Yeah, could be, okay.
As long as they plow it, and we're able to see them.
And I know Mark told the powers that be out there that we're plowed, but, you know, the bathrooms aren't open, so.
Yeah, so, there's an official way that they close the airport, and, so, and it's online, any pilot that wants to go check, that kind of thing, what they do.
Okay,
I haven't seen them, close it.
okay, all right, good deal. Let's see. DDA, do we have a DDA rep here? We're still pursuing the pathway, safe routes to school pathway expansion south of town. We do have a request for proposal out there. We've had a little bit of interest in that. So we are still trying to push ahead on that. Dan and I watched a presentation from the state of Michigan regarding grants. Some discussion there. We'll probably bring it up at the next DDA meeting, whether or not to pursue that. Anyway. FOIA, before we get there, assessor, Doug is doing really well. For those of you that may not know, our regular full-time assessor, Doug Kuiper, had heart surgery in December. He's doing really, really well. He is now driving some. He gets tired really fast. He's excited to try to come back, but we want him to be able to get here without falling asleep. So in the interim, Clayton McGovern has stepped up and he's doing a fabulous job. And in addition to all of this, the county, Sheboygan County, is undergoing an assessing audit this year, PA 660. So he's helping get us tuned up for that as well. So you'll see some changes, some additions to our website, and Karen's handling that as well. So assessing is going along. DDA pursuing the pathway expansion, many FOIA requests. Jonathan, do you want to jump in here now, or do you want to wait till then? You want to do this now? Okay.
So as the new FOIA coordinator, I did purchase a computer specific to FOIA email. And getting in there and reviewing everything, it seems to be not running most smoothly. What I found is, responses are being sent from 18 different people and questions are being asked and stuff's getting missed. So just kind of created a little flow chart here to hopefully negate some issues and make for a smoother process. So I believe Karen got the FOIA email on the website, correct?
I didn't double check that today. I will tomorrow.
Okay.
I did ask her, but I'll double check with her.
So all FOIA should be sent to the FOIA coordinator email. I will review those daily. I will then dissipate to the proper department head, whether it be the supervisor, the clerk, or the treasurer's office. I just asked for an acknowledgement from the department head that, yes, I've received this FOIA request. Gather the requested information, place that into the shared folder under the respondent name. I will, as soon as I receive a FOIA request, I will go into the shared folder and create a file under their name. If they've already requested one, I'll do a date under their name. So I just dump any requested information into that shared folder, and then once it's in there, I'll review it, make sure nothing needs to be redacted, make sure everything's hopefully fulfilled, and then I will disperse it back to the requester through the FOIA email.
Okay.
And does that make sense for everybody?
I just have a question.
Yep.
So what, because once there's that 5-day,
You're fine.
so when you receive the email, does the clock start ticking, or when we acknowledge that we got it?
No, I think once I acknowledge that
Okay,
it's been received, and then we'll send it out simultaneously, so.
okay.
And then if there are costs involved, do you want us to fill out that, we have a form, a multi-page form, and we can put that in the shared folder along with our data?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So hopefully that helps things run a little smoother and
Yeah.
a little happier.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you. Kelsey, Rutkowski. Library.
Yes. Hello? Hello? Hello. Okay, we're good now. Hi. So I do it as a test to make sure. So before I start, I had a virus last week and I'm on the very tail end of it, but I still have a cough. So if the cough, that's why I promise I'm not contagious. So that's number one. So for February, we have one event that's left for the month. It's our classic movie matinee. That is Friday, February 20th from 1 to 3 p.m. We're doing Casablanca this month with the Month of Love. And that's a runtime of 1 hour and 42 minutes. Popcorn, snacks, and water will be provided, but you can bring your own if you'd like. And you're also welcome to bring your own choice of seating and a blanket and whatever else will keep you comfortable while watching this movie. No sign up is required to attend. I'm shorter. Okay. And so also March, going into that. So our theme for March is Meow Madness. I'm very excited about this as a fellow cat lover. So alongside doing some events with the Humane Society and possibly with the Indian River Veterinary Clinic, we are also doing Felines for Fine Forgiveness through it's kind of a jumble, but it's through the month of March. So if you send or show us a picture of a cat, and it does not need to be your own cat, then the library will forgive any late fines. So it's just a fun thing through March, and then we get to see cats, which I mean, who's going to be mad about that? It does not apply for fees due to lost or damaged materials or Melcat items. Eligibility is ultimately decided by library staff, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to show us a cat. So we're also doing the Secretary of State mobile office will be back in this room on Monday, March 2nd and Monday, March 30th. They're coming twice in March. 10 a.m. until 3:45 p.m. No registration is required. You can just drop in. And I also want to give a thank you to the Indian River Chamber of Commerce and its members for awarding the Indian River Area Library with the Outstanding Promotion of the Indian River Area Award for the second year in a row. Yeah, that's great. We love to highlight this beautiful community that we live in, and we are so appreciative of this recognition. So thank you. That's everything.
Very good, thank you. Any questions for Kelsey and her activities? Are you still doing the, meditation with meow
Yeah,
meditation or something?
I am happy to talk about that. Okay, so tomorrow we have our Kid Cuddles program. That's with the Humane Society. And we do have one time slot left. So that's 2 to 2:15 p.m. If you want to hang out with 4 really cute cats in our meeting room, then you can sign up for that on our website and we will get back to you right away. We are going to do it again in March. I just need to get the time nailed down with her. And then we're going to do like some DIY craft things. So we'll do DIY cat toys as a class. We're going to do DIY pet blankets. And the pet blankets will be all donated to the Humane Society. And we are possibly, see, this is what I'm trying to rope somebody into. I want to do an Understanding Your Cat program. And so hopefully I can get someone from the vet clinic to do that. And if not, then hopefully somebody from the Humane Society. If not, I will teach it. Somebody is going to be teaching this class. So that's where we're at. We're also going to do a movie showing probably of Aristocats at some point during that month too.
Yeah.
We're really leaning into the cat theme for March. But I promise we will do dogs in August for Dog Days of Summer. So I'm not leaving out the dog lovers. We're also going to do a vote during the month where you can vote for whether you like cats or dogs more.
Oh,
And
dear.
just a fun little, we'll see at the end of the day what the community likes the best. So I know what my vote's going to be.
Yeah.
And I bet you can guess it. All right. That's it.
Thank you. Thanks, Kelsey. Okay. Parks, Ms. Cole.
Okay, we met February 3rd. There have been concerns brought to our attention about people parking at the trailhead with a truck and trailer and blocking it. So we just wanted to bring that to the board's attention. Don't know if we can look into it or just keep an eye on it. It was a concern. So we had asked the board to approve us hiring Leonard for the Parks Commission, or for the Parks, and he declined the position. So Doug then reached out to another applicant that we had, and he never responded. In the meantime, Vinny Carnello, he's the young man who had worked for us, and then he went off to college, but he's back, and he reached out to Tom and then Doug, and so we decided Doug just hired him full time. Kind of works out good because there's a couple days a week he can't work, but he can do the Saturdays and Sundays then because he's available on weekends and then Doug doesn't have to. We did get the new tractor. Doug said it works great. I will not be at the next meeting. Not that I don't really matter, but we just kind of discussed it. We figured we'd still have a farm. I'm going to be on a cruise, so they didn't want to change the date. So, and I'm not going on my cruise. Sorry. That's about it. We will continue to monitor park facilities throughout one month and prepare for spring projects. If anybody has any questions or issues, please don't hesitate to contact one of us.
And do you still have a position open on the Parks Commission?
Yes, we do.
And when are you meeting?
The first Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock here. We actually had 2 people in attendance out in the audience this meeting, only because it was the president and vice president of Little League, and we were going over what we needed, what they expected of us, what we expect of them. We never have any attendance, but so we would really appreciate people coming also. I mean, our parks are a huge part of this township. I grew up here, so I've always been taken advantage of them. My 3 kids have, and now my grandkids do. We need more people to help us keep the parks up and running, supporting, whether it's financially, or helping, being on the commission for ideas. Our parks, people come from all around for our parks. My brother-in-law, his kids played ball for Petoskey. And Petoskey has a lot more money than we do. They always said that our ball fields were the best ones they've ever played at. We need to keep these parks going. So please support our parks and please join the commission. Thank you.
Thank you. You're fine. You're fine.
You guys have any questions? Before I go?
No, I don't. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yep, see ya.
You too.
Police, chief. Can you do something about the heat? I'm kidding.
Open the window, go ahead.
Jeez. It's down to 62 in here by thermostat, but holy man.
It isn't 62. So, real quick, on January 22nd, my officers were dispatched to a truck and trailer in the ditch on Victor Drive. Upon arrival, there was nobody around the vehicle. Later, the officers discovered that the trailer and the two snowmobiles that were in the trailer were stolen from a residence on Victor Drive. With the help of local residents, local businesses, and their surveillance footage, we were actually able to track that suspect all the way through town. We did obtain a very good photograph of him, and he was identified. And ultimately, the suspect was identified. We made 2 arrests in the case, a 33-year-old man and a 32-year-old female from Mansell, Michigan. And the residents got their property back. So.
Good, good. Thank you for that, yeah.
We interviewed 3 candidates on January 30th for our full-time position. Out of the 3 candidates, we decided to hire a young man by the name of Jackson Mesner. He is currently in Police Academy at Lake Superior State University. He will be graduating at the end of June. He's 21 years old, very, very nice young man, lives in Harbor Springs. So we're definitely looking forward to having him join our team. Other than that, that's all I have for tonight. Any questions? And hopefully we'll get the boilers going in the next week or 2. Again.
Oh, the gift that keep, then we're gonna be off and running with the air conditioning. Right. All right, we'll start bringing in black ice. Any questions? No, thank you, sir. Okay, on to old business. The assessor contract will wait. 2026 fireworks, again, revisited. That's not me, it's Jonathan.
All right, so I reached out and scheduled the date of July 5th for Great Lakes fireworks. The makeup day of July 6th. I did attempt to reach out to some more vendors with no response. I didn't catch the name of who it was, but if they're in the audience or are listening on the live stream, I did have a call from a man who owns a firework company in Florida and Pennsylvania that actually has a part-time residence here. So his neighbor reached out to him and kind of explained the situation. Unfortunately, he was all booked, like all others, but certainly we'll contact him in the future. So I guess that I ask, Great Lakes Fireworks is asking for 50% down. I believe the due date was at the end of the month. So I guess I'll make the motion to contract Great Lakes Fireworks and to pay 50% of the $15,000 budgeted cost.
So that's the motion that we accept the contract with Great Lakes Fireworks for $15,000 with a 50% down payment of $7,500 due by the end of February. That's the motion Jonathan made. We have support?
I'll support that.
Oh, okay.
I do have a question though. For you.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any appetite in Indian River for a drone show instead of fireworks?
So I guess maybe if Pat would like to comment during public comment, there is going to be a committee that's formed for 4th of July 250th anniversary. And that is something that has been brought up. So.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We'll get that checked out ASAP. Wastewater treatment plant operations contract. Do not be dismayed by the size of this contract. We put this out to bid. We did get 2 site visits. Both companies declined. They said they could not match what Mead and Hunt does. One did not have personnel in the area, and the other just said he couldn't touch it. So, Mead and Hunt's project proposal, is on page 11. It is a 3-year contract. Their scope starts on page 8. It runs for 3 pages as to what they will be doing for us. I won't read it here. With the expansion of the collection system, with the expansion, the doubling of the treatment plant, our testing also expands. They are set up to handle that out there with their the level of operators that they provide to us, A and B, and I think it's A, B, C, and D, and I cannot tell you the difference between them. This is a 3-month contract to start March 1st, 2026 and end February 28th of 2029. It is a monthly fee of $15,000 for the work performed. And there will be an increase of 4% in each subsequent year. There is call out. This is for basically a full-time operator at 40 hours a week. Anything over that 40 hours a week, we will be billed $110 an hour with a 2-hour minimum. There's a markup on reimbursed expenses, say they had to buy a battery. It's an example, 15% markup on that. There is a budget limit of $30,000 for call-outs and additional work. Mead and Hunt has been with us since 2018. Who can tell me? 2017? Sally, do you remember? Okay. They have, Mead and Hunt has just done an exceptional job. They are the top of the line in wastewater plant operations. And we have on My Enviro, which is a state website where they post all of our testing, we are, I believe, at 100% compliance. That's the right terminology to use. We've enjoyed that with them at the helm for a number of years. We're fortunate to have them and have such a good relationship. They've also helped us get things up to speed. We've not had a good track record in maintenance with our system, our collection system, and with our wastewater system, and we are working towards that. It's going to be a process, but as the system grows, the need for regular maintenance is going to be of primary importance. We can't have plugs in the lines. We can't have lift stations go down. So we're working towards that. Anyway, so I will make a motion to accept the O&M proposal from Mead and Hunt. And I'm looking for support on that.
I read every line of that very, very big response to the proposal. And it's one of the most professional and detailed proposals I've seen. I would support that.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? And again, something, I spend a great deal of time at the wastewater treatment plant and have learned a lot about sewer systems, and it's quite interesting. One of the things we've talked about with Mead and Hunt, and I think all of us can appreciate this, and all of us who are on the system and those of us that hope to be on the system, we want to have some sort of a tour. You know, what to do, what not to do, how does it work, why does it work? It's important to understand it's not we all just look for the magic flush, right? We just want it to work every time. Well, there's a lot that goes into that. And what I do or don't do to my system affects yours. It may affect yours. It affects it all. So we're working towards that. And as well, it's another, career path. It's a very good career path for our young people. So again, we're working on that, maybe during our old fashioned days or Summerfest or whatever. Yeah, let's go tour the sewer plant. So it's just something, to put it out there. And we've had some expansions out there. So hey, if anybody's interested in blowers and motors, screens, it's interesting, yeah. So, okay, so we have the motion on the table to accept the Meeting Hunt Operations 3-year contract at $15,000 a month. And we've got support from Tom. Any other questions? Any questions?
No questions, but, I think it was cool. These other two that looked at the work, how greatly they talked about Meeting Hunt. That basically they're the rock stars of the sewer operating and maintaining of the north, so, makes you feel good when competitors are saying, you should probably go with these people.
Yeah, exactly. And Meeting Hunt is all about relationship building as well. So last year, not even last year, when we were in the ice storm, they worked really hard with us and with Little Traverse and the casino and I think Kalkaska, and we were all in the same boat. Nobody had power, nobody had generators, and we were all needing something to keep the sewage from backing up on the ground. So they helped us and we helped other communities, and that's very valuable. So anyway, okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, thank you. The engineering consulting, that is a shorter contract. That is, we received one proposal on that. That was from Meeting Hunt, and that is again for oversight with the expansion out there, and that will be ending very soon. So that is a very short contract. It is not 3 years. And there's a limit on that budget as well. Let me find it. And again, it's just oversight on the expansion. It's on an as-needed basis. We don't pay anything unless we use their service. It goes to a higher level of engineer to oversee any design out there. Or to say, hey, is this the way you do it? Kind of thing. And the budget is limited to $10,000.
Per year.
Trying to find that. Did you find it? That's not it marked. Seven. That's the permit. Yeah, that's the permit that we have to have. Oh, come on.
That's okay.
I don't
Take it all
see it. Tom, did you see that in your readings of this?
Not in that proposal, no.
That's if it's late, the payment is late. I don't see it, I'm sorry, I apologize, board. Oh, no. Taxable. I don't see it,
But we don't pay anything unless we need their help.
correct.
Okay.
So I can table this and bring it back in March. Expiration. Okay. Okay, amendment to ordinance 12, which is, we talked about this last month. Last month we directed, we asked our attorney, who's here tonight, Rob, to amend our, the ordinance regarding the annual meeting, and that is indicated in bold under item C. So this is a formality. My motion would be to accept this amendment as presented.
I support that.
So basically, it changes it from a Saturday to any day that is not a weekend or a major holiday. So the motion is to accept the amendment. Excuse me, there is support. Any questions? Very good. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
sorry to stand up, but I drove up here, so I feel like I gotta.
Yeah, do.
We typically do roll calls for ordinance amendments.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, thank you, Rob.
Yes.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Roll call vote for that. Thank you, Rob. Okay. Amend policy. This is a policy change. Policy 2.19, public participation. The current policy is on the reverse side of your cover sheet. Let me take a minute and, do you want to take a minute and read what is we presently have? So the amendment is to add the following statement, which would say at the beginning of the policy, at meeting of Tuscarora Township Board, members of the public may have an opportunity under public comment on agenda items at the beginning of the meeting for no more than 3 minutes, solely on agenda items. And then it would go on to say, members of the public shall have an opportunity under public comment at the end of the meeting to address the board on any matter for no more than 3 minutes. So it adds an additional, may add an additional public comment period. So I would make the motion to add that to our, amend the policy. And discussion. Question?
So, I guess I just have an issue with May, the word May, I guess. Why May? What's our thinking here?
Well, to me, it broadens the opportunities, that rather than saying you shall, which is you will do it every single time, which is what we have historically been doing for the past 13 months. It gives the option to not include it.
It's not law. The law says you have to have it at the end of it.
Sure. I guess I feel more comfortable with it. Reading it, meeting with Tuscarora Township Board members of the public.
Shall.
meaning
will have the opportunity.
so you want a mandated, always at the beginning and always at the end?
I think so. You know, I think a lot of, not that there's been a whole lot of agenda comments, but I think it does affect me personally. You know, if someone comes up and says, I think X, Y, Z should be done, and I'm thinking ABC, you know, maybe I didn't think of X, Y, Z, and I like X, Y, Z better than I liked ABC, so, you know, I think it gives an opportunity to make a decision.
And I don't disagree with you, which is why we've always included it in the past.
I just don't like to pick and choose of, we're gonna have it on the agenda
Mhm.
in April, but we're not gonna have it on the agenda in August.
Sure.
But these, policies affect not only this current board, but all future boards. And so past boards didn't have comment on agenda items.
We can change it.
So do you want to amend? We have a motion on the table with the verbiage of May. Can we amend this? I think we can amend this.
You can amend it, sure.
So are you proposing, Jonathan, to amend it so that instead of may, it will say will or shall?
Will be given.
Okay.
An opportunity under public comment on the agenda.
Nice.
So replace may have with will be given.
Or will have an opportunity? Will, will have an opportunity? Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right, so the new amended motion is to change the verbiage to say at a meeting of Tuscarora Township, at meeting, or English. At a meeting of Tuscarora Township Board, members of the public will have an opportunity under public comment on agenda items at the beginning of the meeting for no more than 3 minutes solely on agenda items. Yep, okay. So that's the motion on the table. Any additional discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Trout Town Resort, the public comment, the public support is included for the public's enjoyment and review. Letter of support that the board agreed to write and support of this project is at the end of the table for anyone who has not yet seen it. That's more of an informational item. Sewer, new business. This is the building expansion. We heard Steve earlier, we have no bills. It's winter time. He's been scrubbing the finances. I believe the board, you all have a copy of the drawing that's being worked on with changes. We met yesterday for 3 hours to go over this. The third page down, you'll see it's drawing C302. The lower left corner is the actual addition with the chem storage tank. The 3-page addition is the smaller tank information. So again, the motion that I would make is that once the drawings and specs and the contract documents have been completed by performance, that the board authorizes the supervisor to submit the drawings to USDA and EPA for review. That's the first step. And once it's been approved by the USDA and the EPA, then the project goes out for bid for 30 days. And the bid will include the headworks addition, the building addition, which includes the tank the replacement screen, which again will handle any additional collection system additions that we have. The standalone unheated storage building. And then after 30 days, once those bids are reviewed and accepted, then we will start that, and that's 180 days, right, Steve?
That's what I've got drafted.
And then that will be the first draw of the EPA supplemental $1 million grant. So the ask is to allow me to go ahead and send this off to the USDA and the EPA once the drawings and the specs and contract documents come back from performance.
I will make that motion to give the supervisor permission to submit these drawings off to USDA and EPA once the bids are back. And you have this finished from next year.
So again, it will just go to USDA and EPA for them to look at and make sure it ticks all their boxes, and then we'll get it out for bid. And then it'll all come back for the board to review and choose. Okay? So that's the motion on the table. Is it-
Second.
Tom, thank you. Okay, thank you. Comments, questions? Steve is in the back to help us. We have questions? Need clarifications? No? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, board. Okay. Lost my agenda. Okay. FOIA appeal.
Madam Supervisor, may I approach the podium just easier to answer?
Yes, sir.
questions?
Thank you. Okay. So we have had requests for FOIA appeals, and
First, I'll introduce myself, Robert Huth. I represent the township attorney, here to help the board on these 3 appeal matters. I did send a correspondence, but I brought extras in case you didn't have it with you. I can just maybe pass it down, Mr. Jonathan, anybody that wants to take it.
Since microphone.
My microphone, check.
Check, there we go.
There we go.
okay.
So I don't want to play the role of township supervisor or board, but what I have seen a way to handle these is we now have 3 appeals in front of us this evening. We take them one at a time. We can discuss the best way going forward. Although it's a little bit different than our typical format for meetings here, it's always best if there's somebody, because we're having a hearing, an appeal, if there's somebody here in the audience that is present to speak to the matter, we should give them an opportunity to be heard. So if you found that format acceptable, I would say we would start with the first one that came up on my correspondence, and that's an appeal by Robert Kramer regarding 2 FOIAs that he sent, one dated February 4, 2026, and the second dated December 26, 2025. So if I have your permission, I would ask, is there anybody here to address the Robert Kramer Freedom of Information Act appeal that's set for hearing this evening? There is not anybody coming forward. Mr. Kramer indicated by way of email to me he may not attend tonight, but that doesn't mean we still shouldn't hear his appeal. With respect to his appeal, my recommended motion is that we say yes to his appeal and continue to strive to present documents to him that he is seeking. So a format that you might decide is if the board could comment on my recommendation. After I hear board comments, I would suggest a motion for you. So, Mr. Kramer indicated, confirmed it by way of email to me, 2 points. First, he's looking for a comprehensive search of all treasury correspondence. Is that still on?
No.
Oh, what's going on? There you go. Mr. Kramer is seeking, in his first appeal matter, all treasury correspondence received by the township, including internal communications and board materials from December 1, 2024 through. Aha. Am I supposed to be holding that finger on that or no?
No, the batteries are starting to go out.
There's, all right, so that's A. On. Secondly, he is seeking reports, drafts, management letters, corrective actions, and communications with the CPA. That FOIA request and our response to it, I think we should narrow down a date certain on that, because it doesn't have, based on my email with Mr. Kramer, it doesn't have a date. I think it's reasonable to use the same date that he used in the previous one. So I would suggest a motion, but I think we should add to that, just as the previous one, from December 1, 2024 to present.
Now to present.
Good.
To present, you mean February, whatever.
Yeah, right. It's actually a good point. It would be until January 16.
Okay, 1/16 of 26.
Yeah, 1/16/26, that's correct. So, just for, I could read a suggested motion, but for purposes of putting it in our minutes, you'll have it in front of you, so you know exactly what we talked about. And after the board takes action tonight, we should send Mr. Kramer a correspondence or some communication so he knows what this board decided on his appeal. So, with respect to his appeal, Mr. Kramer's appeal, here's my suggested motion. To grant Bob Kramer's FOIA appeal and direct the clerk to conduct a proper, comprehensive search and produce all treasury correspondence received, township responses, written internal communications, and board materials from December 1, 2024 through present, and to produce all audit reports and drafts, management letters, and corrective actions, engagement letters, and scopes of work, written communications with the auditor or CPA firm, and written communications of Michigan Department of Treasury, EPA, USDA, and other agencies regarding audits, and I misspoke, from December 1, 2024 through January 16, 2026. And when I said present earlier, it should say limit to January, and I'm making a correction for your record, 16, 2026. That's my suggested motion.
And when you were reading that, Rob, you mentioned Michigan Treasury, EPA, USDA, and other agencies. Here, should we say and, or, does it matter? And
Well,
or?
I'm a little bit worried if we say or, it seems like we can pick which ones we want to produce,
Exactly.
and our intention is to produce them all.
Right.
I'm more comfortable with and.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so,
If somebody wanted to, chose to, they could say, I move to adopt the motion that was read.
there you go.
I move to adopt the motion that was read.
Very good.
I can read it again, but I think I'll second.
Yes. Any questions or comments or?
What's your time frame, It's been almost 2 years of, over 2 years.
Well, what, yeah, so we have 10 days and we can request.
We're a little bit out of the statute in terms of the hard requirements, 5 years, 5 days, extend to 10 days. So now we're in the reasonable area. So if you let me know, and I can let Mr. Kramer know tomorrow when you can expect that, we don't have to make it a part of our motion tonight. Our intention is clear. We're going to gather this information and produce it. So I'll make sure I communicate with him. I have done so by email and text messages.
So we're thinking 10 days-ish.
Okay.
We'll have to pull together on this. We can help. Okay. Does that answer your question? Okay. So all in favor of that motion? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, that's the first.
All right. On to Roman numeral number 2. Mr. Rod Grandy is seeking all communications to and from the Michigan Department of Treasury concerning revenue, sharing, withholding, or borrowing authority. His FOIA was dated February 5, 2026. So my suggested motion is as follows. Motion to grant, I guess I should back up a little bit. On this one, again, we don't have a date that Mr. Gandy's asking for, but let's apply a reasonable standard. Let's use the same date that Mr. Kramer was using, plus some of those documents that may overlap and save us some effort. So I would suggest that we start with December 1, 2024 is the start date, and end at the date of the FOIA, which is February 5, 2026. So if we wanted to adopt that suggestion, it would be, the suggested motion is as follows. Motion to grant Rod Grandy's February 5, 2026 FOIA appeal and provide all written communications to and from the Michigan Department of Treasury concerning revenue sharing, withholding, or borrowing activity received by the township from December 1, 2024 through February 5, 2026.
I'll make that motion. So read, just read.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions?
Do we not, have we sent some information on this FOIA request already? Yes, we have. That's what I thought.
That's a fabulous question. I mean, and what the way these cases talk about FOIA is that they realize that municipalities start producing, see that there's an appeal coming, and continue to work to find documents. So it's not what we're doing here is, hey, we have this. The requester says, I'm not satisfied with that. We can continue to work to provide documents. And that shows that, our good faith, we're trying to comply. So we gave some, we're going to give some more.
Okay.
Any other questions? No. Okay, so, motion on the table is the motion as read. Support from Tom. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. And on to 3.
On to Roman numeral 3. Here, Mr. Henry Herpel is seeking a formal FOIA appeal regarding communications with the township CPA, Certified Public Accountant. We initially denied this request. I frankly was the one that suggested that we deny it. And the reason for that was we had communications that came from the CPA that said confidential, privileged. In a lot of aspects of the law, that's a recognized privilege. You don't have to tell somebody what your CPA told you. It's confidential. But in FOIA, the cases are on both sides. So I think best just to move forward and give these documents. In the meantime, as I understand it from Clerk Decker that the CPA has said, okay, to turn these records over. So we made a decision, looked at it further, decided we're gonna reverse our decision. So my recommendation is that we go ahead and put a date on this one too, just to keep it consistent. My suggested motion is to grant Henry Herpel FOIA appeal dated January 30, 2026, and produce all written records written records involving written communications with the township CPA from December 1, 2024 through, was his FOIA dated January 30, or did I get that wrong? What was his date of his FOIA?
This was just this current here, the W-2s, W-3s, and
Oh,
all that stuff. As I remember it, it wasn't as encompassing as
okay.
wrong.
So, I thank you for that then. So I think the reasonable motion would be to grant the appeal for information dated from January 1, 2026 through January 30, 2026. And just by way of formalities, I did forget to ask, is there anybody on behalf of Mr. Rod Grandy that is here tonight to address the board regarding this appeal matter? Nobody has stepped up. And then finally is Mr. Henry Herpel or anybody on his behalf here to address this FOIA matter.
I think you mentioned January 1st, 2026 twice, both for the start and end.
Thank you. If I said January 1st twice, that is a mistake. I meant to say January 1st through January 30th, 2026. Thank you.
Okay. Right. So I'll make that motion as read to grant the authorization for Mr. Herpel.
I second that.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, board. Job well done.
Thank you, Rob. Okay. Home stretch. Danielle. Public comments. Everybody wait. No public comments. Okay, public comments are closed. Board comments. I do have a board comment. Okay. Last month there was a comment made that the letter that we ultimately issued that was requested by Trout Town was sitting on my desk. That's not true. That ask had come to me initially in January of 2025. At that time, I reached out to the NLEA representative who was working with Trout Town at that time, and there were some hurdles that I couldn't get over and she couldn't help me. As we know, MEDC, Revitalization and Placemaking, the RAP grant, has requirements. One of them is a master plan. We do not have our own planning commission. We do not have a master plan. That was the first hurdle. As such, it defaults to the local, which is the county. The county has a master plan, and in fact, they rely on an approved site plan, which hadn't been done in January of last year, and in fact was done December 15th of 2025. Again, the RAP grant is meant to be somewhat flexible. If it goes on to state that if you don't have your own master plan, that is Tuscarora Township, there are alternatives. A downtown development plan. It was approached with the DDA. They asked for a presentation that it was declined. A capital improvement plan or an EDC plan. We don't have an EDC. Or a board, good night, Irene, or a board letter of support. So ultimately, the letter of support came from the township board, and that is exactly the way it's supposed to happen. I've had legal counsel advise me that for me to write a letter
would be coming from me, Trudy taxpayer. For me to sign a letter on behalf of the board has to be presented to the board and authorized by the board, which is what we did last month. So it's not a mere formality. It is a robust discussion. It is that we support the project, that we believe it fits in our area. It fits with our vision, the community's vision, and all the various committees and commissions that we have. It is not about delay. It is about making sure that we, the township, didn't sign off on something before the required planning was in place. And that was accomplished with the Sheboygan County Planning and Zoning Commission on December 17th, 2025. Thank you.
Okay, first, I just want to take a minute to welcome Mr. Kraut to the board. This is his first meeting. How'd you do?
You were gentle with
Except it's warm in here.
it. Yeah, it is.
And then, I just want to make a quick comment. I'm not looking at. I think I can speak for the entire board. Right? I just want to say thank you to everyone who's reached out with kind words and support for the trustees. While the trustees, and I wrote this on my lunch, we do receive a small stipend, but the role, as some of you know, who previously served on the board, it still takes a lot of time, effort, and patience. The work isn't always easy or visible, and a little encouragement goes a long way. Positive input, suggestions, come on in, offer your help. Door's always open. I just want to thank you for noticing and caring, and thank you for supporting us.
Any other board
Let's go get a beer.
Any other board comments? Motion to adjourn at 8:40.
You know it. Bye.
Beer and then-